last 24 hours. Powered by Yiddish 24, provided to you by The Click.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, Parshas Mishputim, Chuf Hai Shvat, Tuvshin Pai Vuv, on Edge. My name is Gershi Schwartz and I'm your host on Edge. Now, there's lots going on. Have you heard that you could get arrested if you park next to a fire hydrant in New York City? Yeah? So next time you go there, bring with a tape measure to make sure that you don't get cuffed. Okay, Memento makes care packages for Shabbatons, events, Simchas, and even Bar Mitzvahs, and now for Purim, Mishloach Manos. So make sure you get on track and prepare yourself in advance by calling 845-318-GIFT. That's 4438. Again, the number is 845-318-4438, or you could click the WhatsApp link in the description below. Okay? Again, info@mementony.com. That's info@mementony.com. That's Memento. All right, international news. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was in Washington for a critical meeting with President Trump. The Prime Minister arrived yesterday for urgent talks about the Iranian nuclear threat. Reports say Trump has convinced him to accept a new round of negotiations with Tehran, but he also demanded from Netanyahu to agree to join his controversial Gazan Board of Peace. This is an important part of Trump's 20-point plan to end the war. This is an international council that would govern Gaza and oversee the security and also the rebuilding of Gaza. Right now, Israel is in control of the area, and it is hard for them to give up that power. Netanyahu is afraid that this International Board of Peace will stop his military, the IDF, from hunting terrorists. He wants Israel to keep full security control, not hand it over to foreign diplomats. His right-wing partners, Minister Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, hate the idea. They want Israel to govern Gaza not an international group that includes Arab nations like Qatar or Turkey. As part of the Board of Peace, Trump, who is the chairman of the VAD, also wants each country who is a member to pay $1 billion to be a member to join the group. Reports say Netanyahu has finally agreed to join the board anyway. Did he pay the $1 billion? I don't know. He realized he could not say no to President Trump while he needs him and America's help against Iran. After the meeting, which lasted about 2.5 hours, Trump posted on the results of his meeting on Truth Social. He wrote, quote, "There was nothing definitive reached other than I insisted that negotiations with Iran continue. He warned that if they do not make a deal, the US will attack them hard. He said last time Iran decided that they were better off not making a deal, and they were hit with midnight hammer. That didn't work well for them, did it? Hopefully this time they will be more reasonable and responsible," end quote. Trump confirmed this morning that the second aircraft carrier is going to be deployed to the Middle East. And that, Rabbi Isai, is a clear and strong message to Tehran. Speaking of Iran, in January 2025, Iran was elected to chair the Asia Pacific group within the United Nations Human Rights Council, the UNHRC, to guide activities until the end of the year. What a joke, right? Iran, human rights. The IDF has killed, well, speaking of human rights, Pezeshkian just screamed a state drusha there in Iran, saying that if Trump and Netanyahu really think what we're doing to our citizens here is inhumane, is terrible, let them hang us, he said. That's what he said in the speech. The IDF has killed a CNA Hamas commander in Gaza. The military confirmed today that they killed the head of the sniper unit in the Beit Hanun battalion. His name was Ahmad Hassan. The terrorist, Yimach Shemoy, was responsible for many attacks that killed 7 Israeli soldiers and wounded dozens of others over the last year. Intelligence shows he was hiding in a residential apartment in the Gaza city when the Air Force bombed his building. The IDF says he was actively planning new attacks when the missile came down and finished him. He was seen loading a van with guns to prepare for another attack. And let's just say he was promptly stopped from one attack to another. Sadly, a Russian-Iranian Shahed suicide drone has killed a father and his 3 children in Kharkiv region. Rescue workers say the drone hit a private home in the town of Bohodukiv in the middle of the night. The father and his 3 children were killed. Sadly, we're talking about 2-year-old twin boys and their 1-year-old sister. The mother, who is with child, was pulled from the rubble alive. President Zelensky says this morning that these attacks prove that Russia has no interest in peace. Well, 2 wrongs don't make a right. He should stop sending his troops and soldiers in residential areas. Makes it a clear and open target for Russia, obviously. Based on factual reports, my friends. Russia is now restricting private communication. The Kremlin has decided to block WhatsApp across the entire country. Let's just say the app is being used to spread extremist information. So, in that area, this forces millions of Russians to use a government-monitored app called Max instead. Let's. In other words, I can see the headlines. Iran 2.0. Yeah. Speaking of Iran, the world's top nuclear watchdog says Iran's bombed-out nuclear sites from Midnight Hammer from the Israeli strikes may still hide enough enriched uranium for a dozen bombs. Rafael Grossi, the Grossi head from the IAEA, warned today that his inspectors have been blocked from checking the rubble for months. He said the agency has firm impression that 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium is still buried under the ruins of the Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan facilities. Now, these sites were struck during the 12-day war last June, but Tehran claims the dangerous material is trapped under the debris and cannot be moved. Grossi says without eyes on the ground, he can't be sure if the material is really stuck there or if it has been secretly taken away. This warning comes as the IDF's Farsi account issued a rare public call today, urging Iranians to contact them for any kind of cooperation. The army posted a link to a secure Telegram channel asking patriotic citizens to reach out safely. They say that the Iranians can and they will probably be able to overthrow the regime if they have the weapons, but they don't have weapons, which is a hard thing. Trusting Iran with buried uranium is like trusting a toddler who says he didn't eat the cookie. Yeah. As we reported, the government shut down the airspace over the city for security reasons. Remember the report yesterday? At first, they said they were hunting cartel drones, but now Fox News is reporting the truth. Sources say agents from Customs and Border Protection were testing a high-energy laser weapon to give them that was given to them by the Pentagon. They spotted an object near the border and fired the laser to shoot it down. But it wasn't a cartel drone, it was a birthday balloon. The FAA was never told about the laser test. When they found out about the high-powered laser weapon was being fired into the sky near a major airport, they panicked. They shut down the airspace immediately because they were afraid the laser would hit a passenger aeroplane. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is still calling it a drone incursion. But insiders who know about the balloon say it was just a mistake. Interestingly enough, the NYPD also requested the Trump administration to grant them permission to destroy illegal drones flying in the New York City skies. The House of Representatives has voted to cancel President Trump's tariffs on Canada. Yesterday, we reported about this vote, this thing going into vote because the Republicans and the Democrats are very close to each other. Republicans have a very small majority. The final vote was 219 to 211. 6 Republicans crossed the party lines to join the Democrats and voted yes. They voted to end the national emergency and Trump used to create the taxes in the first place. The group includes Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Congressman Don Bacon, and also Thomas Massie, his name is, okay, and Don Bacon of Nebraska, and others. They argued that the tariffs are actually just taxes on American families. They say that the extra costs are driving up the price of lumber, oil, and groceries. President Trump is furious. He posted a warning on Truth Social during the vote. He threatened that any Republican who votes against him will, quote, seriously suffer the consequences come election time, end quote. The bill now goes to the Senate, where it is also expected to pass, but President Trump has already promised to veto it in the moment it reaches his desk. It is becoming very clear that the Democrats want to have a big win in the next election cycle, the midterms. The Democrats always manage to stick together, no matter what the issue is. They vote as a bloc, and they almost never break the party lines. But President Trump is furious because his party does not do the same. Republicans are always fighting with each other. Let's just call it they're being apologetic to the other side. They're afraid of the other side. They have an opinion, but they're afraid to voice their opinion because they're scared of the Democrats. What's the reality in America? That's what's been happening. The truth is, neither side is right. Members of Congress shouldn't just follow orders like robots. They should vote for what they believe is right, even if it upsets their boss. But right now, the tension is so high, it's impossible to get anything passed. Speaker Mike Johnson said yesterday, it's becoming a bitter partisan fight, and it's madness. At least the fight is in Washington, is within words, In Turkey, the parliament is physically fighting each other. A massive physical fight with punching and pushing happened yesterday. So, what are they fighting about? It started when President Erdogan appointed a new justice minister. The opposition party hates him. They say he's the prosecutor who unfairly targeted their members and the mayor of Istanbul. When the new minister tried to walk up to the podium to take his oath of office, opposition members physically blocked his path. That is when the fighting started. Security had to break up the fight and the session was suspended. In Bangladesh, there is a major election happening today. And it is the first national vote since their revolution. Millions of people are lining up the polling stations across the country. They are voting for a new government after 15 years of authoritarian dictator rule. The race is between the nationalists and the Islamist party. But this is not just an election. The citizens are also voting on something called the July Charter. It is a new law to make sure a dictator can never rule the country again. Security is extremely tight. The army has deployed over 900,000 soldiers to guard the voting booths. Anyway, back to Washington. The House has passed a new law called the Save America Act. It was a very close vote, 218 to 213. Only one Democrat voted for it. His name is Henry Cuellar from Texas. You know, he spells his name Cuellar. I never knew a name has two silent L's, yet alone one silent R. No. Cuellar, his name is, from Texas. The law says that if you want to register to vote, you must prove you are a citizen. You must show a passport or a birth certificate. It also says you must show a photo ID when you go to vote. President Trump supports this law completely. He calls it common sense. He says we must stop cheating and keep non-citizens away from the voting booths. But the Democrats are furious. They say this law is just like the racist laws of the past. Now the bill goes to the Senate. It will be very hard to pass it there. President Trump wants to save the local industry, coal industry. Sorry, I made a mistake. I said local instead of coal. President Trump wants to save the coal industry. He has signed a new order that requires the military to buy its electricity from American coal plants. The president says this is a matter of national security. He argues that coal is reliable because you can store it in a pile. He says wind and solar power can fail during a war or bad weather. He wants the military to sign long contracts to keep these power plants open. He also announced $175 million to fix 6 old coal plants in states like Kentucky and Ohio. He called it beautiful, clean coal. The strike finally ended, Rabbi Isai, at the two of New York's biggest hospitals, like we reported yesterday. Here are the details of the deal that Montefiore and Mount Sinai nurses agreed to. First, they won a 12% raise over the next 3 years. Second, they won safe staffing ratios. This means the hospital must hire more nurses so that one nurse does not have to care for too many patients at once. Third, they won a new protection against artificial intelligence, AI. It ensures that hospitals cannot use AI or robots to replace human nurses or make decisions about patient care. So why is New York Presbyterian, the other hospital, still on strike? Reports say the hospital, New York Presbyterian, has actually offered this exact same deal, the same 12% raise and the same staffing rules and the AI rule. But the local nurse leaders at Presbyterian rejected it. They say it's not enough. They argue that their hospital is different because it is severely overcrowded. They say they often have 300 patients in the emergency room at one time, and said that and the standard deal does not fix that. They feel the union leadership sold them out by accepting a deal that works for other hospitals but not for them. Now the union is forcing the members to vote on the contract anyway, even though their local leaders said no. We will know the results of that vote by tomorrow. The new New Jersey governor, Mickey Sherrill, launched a new online portal to track ICE agents. She wants residents to report exactly where immigration officers are operating in the state. She says this will protect immigrants and keep families together. Illegal immigrants and keep families together. But critics are calling it obstruction of justice. And she might want to look at what happened in Minnesota. Border Czar Tom Homan held a press conference this morning, just a few hours ago. He announced that the massive Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota is finally over, but he declared victory. He said the only reason he is pulling his agents out is because the local jails finally surrendered and agreed to cooperate and hand over criminal aliens. He said, quote, "I have not met one county jail that says no to us." Like I started the news segment, if you park in front of a hydrant in New York City, you might get arrested. The fire department says they are now taking criminal action against drivers who block hydrants. They say that giving out tickets is not enough. They want to tow the cars and charge the drivers with putting lives in danger. They say that a blocked hydrant can cause people to die during a fire. And the city is not just looking at your car, they are looking at your sidewalk too. The sanitation department has given out over 3,500 tickets this week alone. They are punishing homeowners who did not shovel their snow after the storm. The fine starts at $100 and goes up from there. Southwest Airlines, Rabbi Isai, announced that they will use Starlink Wi-Fi on their planes. This makes them the fourth major U.S. airliner to choose Elon Musk's internet service. They are joining United, Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines. Passengers will now have high-speed internet in the sky. Let's talk about what rhymes with sky. Why? Why have you not thought about why as Capital Group when you want to borrow money for your building investment, for your property investment? Okay, the answer is yes when you call them. So call them on 718-831-2168. Now, when it comes to a website, I spoke to a friend of mine who told me that he's struggling because he has a very complex system and a complex website that needs a lot of engineering. He has 7 engineers and he's still unhappy. Not sure what to do. Told him, call Protobyte, 347-354-1237. It's not a joke, Rabbi Isai. He is an experienced the leader, the owner of the company, and obviously he has a very experienced team that works fast, efficiently, gets your system up and running exactly the way you want with all the standards of today. Okay, 347-354-1237. You won't regret it. Call him. Arrive Express is a taxi service you can trust. Rockland County 845-622-1111 and KJ 845-254-1111. It's Arrive Express. My friends, have yourselves a wonderful day and all the best.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish 24, provided to you by The Click.